let's talk about goddess pose. The pose that makes you feel like royalty, I guess. I don't know. It's a very powerful pose. In goddess, you're going to take a big, wide stance. Now, the more that you practice this, the pose will kind of evolve for you. It'll change. But what you're eventually working toward is that if you put your hands straight out, that each ankle is kind of under your hands. And then the real way to test it is to start to bend the knees. And I don't think I'm warmed up enough for this. And as you bend, you should see that your knees can go right over your ankles, right? So if you're really close together and you bend, you see how my knees went past my ankles? Or if you're really, really far away, I don't even think I can do this. I don't know why we would do this, but if I try to bend, there's no way I'm getting my knees over my ankles, right? So play around with it until you're far enough apart that your knees are right over your ankles as you work toward 90 degrees in the knees. And I like to just come back and forth a little bit to find the shape. And a few things to think about in goddess is the knees, for one thing, they have a tendency to kind of curl in. It's just kind of the natural position when we're in this shape. So what you want to work toward, you can use your hands or actively through your legs, try to push the knees back over the ankles. Now for me, they're not going, but it's just the feel that I'm going for, right? And then the other thing is the spine. I'm going to show you from the side. Not the most flattering angle, I guess, unless that's what you're into. But for me, when I go into goddess, I really have a tendency to get this deep curve in my spine and to stick my hips out behind me. That allows me to go lower. But what we want to work on, because yoga is just about getting taller, right? I mean, that's what I always think. What we want to work on is a long spine, right? Not so much a curved spine to get low, but a long spine. So for me, I have to remind myself to tuck my tailbone slightly. And as I come down, push the knees out. You'll see my hips already start to go back a little. And I'm just gonna tuck in a little bit more. I don't know if you can see it, but I can feel it, right? So just think of tucking the tailbone under here, staying tall through the spine. So ribs are stacked over hips, right? They're not leaning forward. They're stacked over hips, shoulders over that, chin is tucked slightly, and the crown of the head is reaching toward the sky. Might not look pretty, but that's our goddess pose.